What if the difference between a woman feeling deeply safe, emotionally open, and naturally close, or quiet, distant, and internally withdrawn, can be shaped by gestures so small that most men overlook them every single day without even noticing their impact? Most men are never taught this, not because it is secret, not because it is complicated, but because no one clearly explains that touch is not just physical contact, it is emotional communication. And for many women, emotional meaning always comes before physical response. Many men believe that if they touch the right place, the reaction should automatically follow. They think touch works like a switch. But women do not experience touch as a simple trigger. They experience it as information. Information about intention, information about presence, information about emotional safety. Before her body responds, her nervous system asks silent questions. Is this gentle? Is this patient? Is this aware? Is he truly here with me? Or is he distracted, distant, automatic? These questions are not spoken. They are felt instantly and answered without words. This is why many men become confused over time. They feel they are doing the same things they always did. They still show affection. They still make contact. But the response feels different. Less warmth, less openness, less emotional closeness. The reason is simple. Familiar touch without awareness becomes routine. Routine without presence becomes empty. And empty touch cannot create emotional safety. For more than 20 years, I have worked with couples of different ages, backgrounds, and personalities. Yet one pattern appears again and again. Men focus on action. Women respond to intention. Men focus on where they touch. Women feel how they are touched, and why they are being touched. One woman once explained this in a sentence that perfectly captures the emotional structure of touch. She said, "Do not touch me just to touch me. Let me feel that you are really there first." That single sentence explains more than most people ever realize. Touch without presence feels like contact. Touch with presence feels like connection. And connection is what the body responds to most deeply. Today we are exploring specific areas of the body that act as emotional gateways, not mechanical triggers, not techniques, not tricks. Emotional gateways. When approached with sincerity and awareness, they signal safety to the nervous system. And when safety is present, openness follows naturally. The first area is one most men underestimate completely: the hands. Hands are not just functional, they are emotional messengers. When you hold a woman's hand slowly, gently, without urgency, you are communicating far more than affection. You are communicating attention. You are saying, without words, "I am here with you in this moment." There is a reason couples who continue holding hands, even after decades together, often report stronger emotional bonds. This is not coincidence. Gentle hand contact stimulates the release of oxytocin, the hormone strongly connected to trust, bonding, and emotional relaxation. It tells the nervous system that connection is safe. But the way the hands are held matters deeply. Rushed holding feels distracted. Loose holding feels uncertain. Absent-minded holding feels empty. But slow, warm, attentive holding feels grounding. Small movements create large emotional meaning. A soft stroke along her fingers, a calm thumb resting lightly in her palm, a steady warmth without tension. These details communicate emotional awareness more powerfully than words. Many women describe feeling understood when their hands are held with genuine calm presence. It creates silent emotional alignment, a sense of shared stillness, shared attention, shared emotional space. There is also something practical many men ignore completely: the condition of the hands themselves. Cold hands, stiff grip, rough contact, these small physical sensations can interrupt emotional comfort immediately. Warm, relaxed, gentle hands invite trust. Emotional perception is shaped by small sensory details more than most people realize. Never underestimate the psychological meaning of holding hands. It is one of the simplest forms of connection, and one of the deepest. Now consider another area that carries powerful emotional influence without conscious awareness: the back of the neck, where the hairline begins. This area stores tension quietly throughout the day. Stress, mental focus, emotional pressure, physical strain. All of it gathers here without notice. When touched gently and slowly, without expectation or intensity, the nervous system begins to release that tension. But intention again determines everything. If the touch feels like it is leading somewhere, if it carries urgency, the body may remain guarded. If the touch feels calm, patient, and still, the body softens naturally. This area responds best to warmth and quiet contact. A resting hand, light fingers. No sudden pressure, no quick movement. I once observed a couple who had grown emotionally distant after many years together. They described living side by side but feeling invisible to each other. One evening, while standing near a window, the husband placed his hand gently at the back of his wife's neck. He did nothing else. No movement, no words, just presence. She exhaled slowly. Her shoulders relaxed. After a moment, she leaned slightly into his hand without thinking. That simple contact reopened emotional awareness that had been absent for years. This is the quiet power of the neck. It communicates reassurance without language. It allows the body to release held tension. And when tension releases, emotional openness becomes possible again. Now we move to another deeply meaningful area: the lower back, between the waist and hips. This region represents stability and support. When touched gently, without gripping or controlling, it communicates a powerful message: I am here and you are free. That balance is essential. Too much pressure feels restrictive. Too little presence feels distant. Steady, warm contact feels supportive. This touch is most effective in ordinary daily moments, not planned romantic settings, not special occasions, just everyday life. Standing together, passing each other, quiet, shared spaces. When a man stands behind his partner and places his hands gently at her lower back, warm and steady without directing movement, something subtle happens. His presence feels grounding, supportive, calm. Many women describe this sensation as emotionally stabilizing. It feels like someone is there with them, but not controlling them. Close, but not overwhelming. Psychologically, this signals protective presence combined with respect for autonomy. And respect is essential for emotional safety. When touch communicates both closeness and freedom, the body relaxes more deeply. Emotional distance begins to dissolve naturally. These first emotional gateways share a common purpose. They are not about excitement. They are about preparation. They create internal conditions where deeper emotional connection becomes possible. The next area is small, subtle, and extremely sensitive to emotional awareness. Behind the ear, and just beneath the jawline. This is not simply a physical sensitivity. It is an emotional sensitivity. This area is only comfortable when trust already exists. If emotional safety is missing, even gentle touch here can feel intrusive. But when trust is present, this space becomes deeply receptive. The reason is neurological. This region is closely connected to the body's alert system. It responds quickly to perceived closeness. When touched with warmth and lightness, the nervous system interprets the gesture as intimate reassurance. When touched with pressure or urgency, the same area may trigger tension instead of openness. That is why softness matters more here than anywhere else. A slow brush of fingers, barely there. Warm breath without intensity. A light resting presence that feels calm, not purposeful. This is not a place for movement. It is a place for stillness. One woman once explained something very meaningful about this area. She said when her partner touched her here gently, she did not feel desired first. She felt valued. And for many women, feeling valued emotionally comes before feeling desired physically. Value creates safety. Safety allows closeness. Closeness allows everything else to unfold naturally. This is why pressure closes this area. Lightness opens it. Now we move to a place many men almost never think about. Yet psychologically it carries powerful meaning. The space between the shoulder blades. This is a part of the body a person cannot see directly. It is outside personal visual awareness. Because of that, it holds deep symbolic meaning related to protection and trust. When someone touches this area gently, they are entering a space of vulnerability that is not consciously monitored. The nervous system responds quickly to any contact here, either with comfort or alertness. If the touch is sudden or firm, the body tightens. If the touch is warm, steady, and calm, the body relaxes. This area responds strongly to reassurance. A gentle resting hand between the shoulder blades communicates something deeply stabilizing. It says, without words, "You are supported. You are not alone. I am here behind you." Notice the emotional direction of this gesture. It is not pulling, not leading, not requesting anything. It is simply offering presence. Many women describe this touch as grounding. Their breathing slows, their mental activity softens, their shoulders release tension they did not even realize they were holding. And here is something important. This touch is not sexual. That is exactly why it is powerful. When touch exists without expectation, the nervous system feels safe enough to open naturally. Emotional openness cannot be forced, but it can be invited. Now we move to an area that requires even greater awareness and patience. The inner thighs, near the knees. This is often misunderstood. It is not an intimate zone itself. It is a transitional space, a psychological bridge between distance and closeness. This area communicates proximity without intrusion, nearness without pressure, suggestion without demand. And that balance is extremely important. When approached slowly, respectfully, and without urgency, this space tells her nervous system something very clear. I am close, but I respect your pace. Many men move too quickly past transitional spaces. They move from neutral contact directly into intimate territory. When that happens, emotional trust has no time to build gradually. The body may react with tension even if the intention is caring. Gradual closeness allows the nervous system to adjust step by step. Light contact here, brief, warm, unhurried, creates anticipation without pressure. It allows emotional readiness to form naturally instead of being rushed. Rushing breaks trust. Patience builds it. This is one of the most important emotional principles of touch. Approach matters more than destination. Now we come to one of the most surprising and emotionally profound areas of all. The lower abdomen, around the navel. This region is deeply connected to instinct, vulnerability, and emotional core awareness. Many people do not consciously think about this area, yet the nervous system is highly protective of it. When someone allows gentle contact here, they are allowing access to a deeply personal emotional space. Not just physical closeness, but internal openness. This is why sincerity is absolutely essential. The hand must be warm, slow, steady, without sudden movement, without pressure, as if touching something precious and fragile. If tension exists in the hand, the body will feel it immediately. If presence is calm and grounded, the body will soften in response. This area responds not to technique, but to emotional authenticity. When a woman allows comfortable contact here, she is not simply allowing touch, she is allowing trust. She is allowing emotional exposure. She is allowing closeness at a level deeper than words. That is why this area must never be approached casually. Emotional readiness must already exist. Safety must already be established. When those conditions are present, this touch feels deeply calming, almost centering. It connects emotional awareness with physical presence in a way that is difficult to describe, but deeply felt. Now that you understand these emotional gateways, an important question naturally arises. Why do these specific areas create such strong emotional responses? The answer lies in how women process touch neurologically and emotionally. Female skin receptors are often more sensitive to subtle variations in pressure, temperature, and movement. But sensitivity alone does not explain the full experience. Emotional interpretation happens simultaneously with physical sensation. When touch communicates care, patience, and awareness, the brain releases oxytocin, the hormone associated with trust, bonding, and emotional openness. This chemical response changes how the entire body experiences contact. Muscles relax, breathing slows, guardedness decreases. The body shifts from alertness into receptivity. These areas are not simply sensitive spots, they are emotional sensors. They help the nervous system answer one fundamental question: is this safe? When the answer is yes, openness follows naturally. When the answer is uncertain, the body remains guarded, even if the touch itself is physically gentle. This is why emotional intention cannot be separated from physical contact. The body always reads both. Understanding this changes everything about how touch should be approached in everyday life. Touch should not appear only during moments of desire. It should exist in ordinary moments, quiet moments, passing moments, shared silence, calm presence. Consistency builds emotional memory. The nervous system learns what to expect. Predictable warmth creates stable trust. And presence is essential. Real presence. Not distracted touch. Not absent-minded gestures. Fully aware contact, even if brief. One man once described something interesting after he began practicing slower, more attentive touch. He said, "I cannot explain what changed. I did not do anything dramatic. But she feels closer to me again." That is exactly how emotional change often happens. Quietly, gradually, without obvious turning points. Women do not always analyze the change logically. They feel it physically and emotionally. Their body simply recognizes safety more often and responds with openness more easily. These emotional gateways are not buttons to press. They are doors. Each one opens only when approached with patience, sincerity, and awareness. And when they open, connection becomes effortless instead of forced. Now that you understand all 7 emotional gateways, something very important becomes clear. These are not techniques to perform. They are signals your presence sends to another nervous system. And the nervous system does not respond to what you do as much as it responds to how you are while doing it. This is the part most people miss. You can touch the same place in the same way, but if your attention is distracted, your mind is elsewhere, or your intention is rushed, the emotional meaning completely changes. The body always feels the difference between presence and absence. Presence has weight. Presence has warmth. Presence has steadiness. Even in silence, presence communicates clearly. This is why emotional connection cannot be created by memorizing actions. It grows from awareness. Awareness of the moment. Awareness of her response. Awareness of subtle changes in breathing, posture, and stillness. Touch is not a performance. It is a conversation without words. And like any conversation, it requires listening. Many men focus only on initiating contact, but emotional connection deepens when you also observe what happens after contact begins. Does her body soften? Does she lean slightly closer? Does her breathing slow? Does her movement become still? Or does she remain tense? Does her posture stay guarded? Does she not respond at all? These are not random reactions. They are communication signals. The body is always speaking. The question is whether you notice. When you adjust your touch based on her response, you communicate respect. When you continue without noticing her response, you communicate disconnection, even if your intention is kind. Emotional safety grows when a person feels sensed, noticed, understood without needing to explain. Now let's talk about timing, another deeply important element. Many people believe touch belongs only to romantic or intimate moments. But emotional trust is rarely built during intense moments alone. It is built during ordinary life, quiet mornings, passing contact in a hallway, standing side by side doing simple tasks, sitting near each other without speaking. These moments shape emotional memory more strongly than dramatic gestures. When touch appears only during moments of desire, the nervous system begins to associate contact with expectation. But when touch exists during neutral, calm, everyday moments, the nervous system associates contact with safety. Safety must exist before deeper closeness feels natural. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. A single powerful emotional moment cannot replace regular small moments of calm connection. But regular small moments can gradually transform how two people experience each other entirely. Think of emotional trust like temperature. It changes slowly, gradually, almost invisibly, until one day the environment feels completely different. Another essential principle is pacing. Many emotional disconnections happen not because of wrong intention, but because of speed. Moving too quickly from neutral space into deep closeness can overwhelm the nervous system. Even gentle touch can feel intrusive if emotional readiness has not formed yet. This is why transitional spaces exist, like the inner thighs near the knees or the lower back or the hands. These areas allow emotional adjustment. They give the nervous system time to recognize safety step by step. Gradual approach creates comfort. Sudden closeness creates alertness. Patience is not passive. Patience is active emotional awareness. Now consider something even deeper, emotional memory. Every experience of touch leaves a trace in the nervous system. Not a conscious memory, but a body memory. The body remembers how safe, calm, or tense it felt during contact. Over time, these memories accumulate. If touch is repeatedly warm, patient, and present, the body begins to expect safety automatically. Openness becomes easier, guardedness becomes unnecessary. But if touch is often rushed, distracted, or inconsistent, the body learns uncertainty. And uncertainty always leads to subtle tension, even if the mind does not consciously notice it. This is why emotional connection is not built in single moments. It is built through repeated emotional patterns. The nervous system learns through experience, not explanation. Now let's talk about a misunderstanding that causes many emotional gaps in relationships. Many men believe they must create strong reactions. They think their role is to produce excitement, intensity, or visible response. But emotional closeness rarely grows from stimulation alone. It grows from regulation. Regulation means helping another nervous system feel calm, steady, and safe. When calmness exists, emotional openness naturally follows. When openness exists, deeper feeling arises without effort. In other words, emotional depth is not something you force into existence. It is something that appears when the environment feels safe enough to allow it. This is why gentle, non-demanding touch often feels more powerful than intense contact. It allows the body to open naturally instead of reacting defensively. Another important truth: emotional safety is not permanent. It must be renewed continuously. Even in long relationships, even after many years, emotional closeness requires ongoing attention. Familiarity does not replace awareness. In fact, familiarity sometimes reduces awareness because people assume they already know each other completely. But emotional experience changes constantly. Stress changes it. Life changes it. Time changes it. And touch must adapt to those changes. What felt comforting years ago may feel routine now. What once felt exciting may now feel expected. Emotional connection remains alive only when awareness remains active. This is why some couples rediscover closeness after many years, not because they learned something new, but because they began paying attention again. Attention is the foundation of emotional intimacy. Now consider one final principle: sincerity. The body detects emotional authenticity immediately. If touch is used to achieve a goal, create a reaction, or produce an outcome, subtle tension often exists underneath the gesture, and the nervous system senses that tension. But when touch is given simply to share presence, without expectation, without pressure, without hidden agenda, it feels different. It feels pure, calm, trustworthy. Sincerity removes pressure from the interaction. And when pressure disappears, emotional openness becomes possible. Many women describe the most meaningful touch as the kind that asks for nothing, the kind that simply exists, warm, quiet, attentive. This kind of touch communicates three powerful emotional messages without speaking a single word. I see you. I respect you. You are safe with me. When these messages are felt repeatedly, emotional closeness becomes natural instead of effortful. Now step back and look at the full picture. The hands create shared presence. The back of the neck releases tension. The lower back communicates steady support. Behind the ear signals delicate trust. Between the shoulder blades offers protection. The inner thighs allow gradual closeness. The lower abdomen connects to deep vulnerability. Each area is not just a physical location, but an emotional pathway. Each one helps the nervous system move gently from guardedness toward openness. And when openness becomes familiar, connection becomes effortless. Many people search for dramatic changes to improve relationships, but emotional transformation rarely comes from dramatic actions. It comes from small, conscious moments repeated with consistency and sincerity. One gentle touch given with full presence, at the right moment, with real awareness, can shift emotional experience more deeply than grand gestures performed without attention. Sometimes a single moment of truly aware contact begins a completely new emotional chapter between two people. Not because something external changed, but because the nervous system finally felt what it had been waiting for all along: safety, presence, understanding, connection. Real connection is rare, but understanding how it works makes it possible. If this video helped you see relationships in a new way, support this message so it can reach more people. Like the video, share it with someone who values meaningful bonds, and subscribe to stay with us as we continue exploring the psychology of human connection. Every subscription helps this channel keep creating thoughtful, powerful content that truly makes a difference. Stay curious, stay aware, and stay connected. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will continue this journey together.